Oh God. Since modern cameras are using technologies like image stabilization and modern lenses are stabilized as well, you can ask yourself, why am I carrying this almost 2 kilos piece of equipment with me on every trip for every picture just to get a stable picture? And I understand why you think that, but a tripod is way more than just a stabilization device, and this video is about why you should probably try one too. Or you shouldn't, because you don't need one. Let's go. A tripod is basically a set of helping hands, and imagine you're working with any tool there is and you have the possibility to just hand it to someone while you're doing something else. So I'm able to just place my camera somewhere else and then focus on something like changing the lens, thinking about what to do next. And right now I'm seeing a beautiful tree that is being hit by light, and I need to change my lens in order to get close enough. The 70-300 is going to be my lens of choice, and since I'm having a tripod, I don't need to juggle anything in my hands, and I don't have to put my camera in the dirt or risk dropping it. This is what my camera sees, and I found this beautiful tree that's being hit by light, and I was trying to put the actual part of the tree that's hit by light on the intersection of the thirds, and I think I'm going for the phi grid right now, because I don't think if I put it on the 1/3 grid, putting the point of interest so far to the left border would be beneficial for the composition. And this is the grid I was going for, and this is the shot I am trying to take. And while I'm waiting for the right light to take the picture and switch my camera back to photography mode, we are talking a little bit about slowing the process down, because the biggest benefit of using a tripod on location is being able to reduce the speed you're working with and therefore doing more decisive decisions. And I am able to reduce the degrees of freedom my system is having, therefore reducing the ways my camera can actually move. And I am able to change every axis of my camera decisively. So if I want to move it a little bit to the left or to the right, I just put my tripod to the left or the right. Or if I want to move a little bit to the right, I see there's another tree, and the tree is being hit by light right now, but I don't think it's adding to the composition a lot. If I zoom out, I can try something like this. I think I like how the shadow is continuing through the plants. So maybe I go for this composition too, and you can decide later which one you like more. Using a tripod isn't necessarily about preventing camera shake. Since I am putting my camera on a set of helping hands, I was able to really be in the moment and decisively change every degree of freedom as I want to. Because when I hold my camera in my hands and I take a picture, I have to take a look at my picture, figure out if the composition is really as I wanted it to be, and then I need to think about, okay, I maybe want to go a bit to the left, and now the distance is off, I need to refocus everything, and I think, well, this composition really helps. While I'm looking in the viewfinder at the tree at the left, I am reducing the height of the entire camera so much that the tree isn't as interesting anymore, and I need to zoom out at the same time. And this is a really trial and error process, and instead of trying so many times and being wrong so many times, I think using a tripod helps a lot, because now I can just change everything. I can change one variable at a time, slowing down the process and doing everything way more decisively. Like you can see here. For example, I can change the aspect ratio of the picture, go to a 4:3 aspect ratio, because I think that 3:2 is a little bit too wide. And since I changed the aspect ratio, I can just have a quick glimpse how the picture might look in the end. And I am now going for a 60:9 crop. And I think since so much stuff is happening in the image, it might actually work. Unfortunately, the shot I came up with is completely different. And I'm a little bit sad that the light was gone so fast, but since this shot is not including a sky, I can take it probably almost any day. However, since I have to be at my target location within the next half an hour in order to see and evaluate the process a little bit better, I need to pack up my 2 tripods and move on. And I really hope you like the picture I came up with while the light was still there. Let's go. I could talk about tripods all day, but let's talk about the composition I came up with. This is what my camera sees, and I found a nicely lit tree that is being hit by light while the background isn't. Therefore, I have a nice degree of separation between the subject and the background. And there's heather in the foreground being hit by light. So I think the money shot is this one for today. I mean, I have ideas. I pass the body of water and maybe I go back when the sun is below the horizon. But I am really, really happy. And in this episode, we should ask ourselves, how is the tripod helping me right now? And the tripod helps me because I have a huge confirmation bias, and tripods are actually a scam, because if I'm the only one carrying a tripod, I feel kind of stupid. I'm trying to push you guys into getting a tripod, so I'm not the only one. Using a tripod in the field is enabling you certain techniques. Like in this particular one, I'm using a focus stack again. And since the heather in the foreground is such a dominant part of this composition, I really want as much detail in it as possible and get it nice and sharp. When my camera would be floating around, it would be almost impossible to create this picture. We ask ourselves, how is the tripod helping me in this particular composition? And the name of the game is looking for symmetry, and it's way easier to achieve symmetry in your shot by changing a single setting at a time. And right now I'm trying to get the tree dead center, and it's way easier to center the shot using a tripod than just hoping to hit it dead center handhelding it, because if I would handheld it, I would also change the y-axis and therefore change the ratio of foreground to background I have already chosen. So therefore, slowing down the process, changing one attribute of the composition at a time, helped me to achieve this nice picture. And I really hope you like it. One ability your tripod is giving you, which your hand-holding camera isn't, you're able to spectate how the light is changing. And right now I realize that at the foremost foreground, the heather is being in the shadow, and therefore there's a nice isolation between the blooming part of the heather and the stem. And if I would handheld my camera all the time and look through the viewfinder, it would be impossible to realize what is actually changing, because the only way to grasp change is to try to prevent it. And by fixing my camera and trying to get everything right, I realized that something changed because I didn't want it to in the first place. I really hope you like this picture, and I gotta go to the body of water that is a little bit upstream. I could talk about tripods the entire day. And one thing you can do with a tripod is you can modify it. And this is how I modified my tripod. just to lose a little bit of weight. I got new spikes because the spikes I had before were really hard to put in the ground, and those are really biting into the dirt without penetrating the soil so much, and it's still really stable. And my vlogging camera here got another modification, this soulless piece of carbon. I increased the height of my center column because I always had to bend my knees in order to be in the frame, and now I can increase the height of my vlogging camera even more. This is half a meter almost. Yeah, probably. It's almost half a meter, and while usually if you increase the number of elements in your tripod, we're talking about a decrease in stability, but since it's just for my vlogging camera, camera shake isn't that big of an issue, at least for now. And those were the upgrades I did to my tripod setup. Well, I found another beautiful scene. Unfortunately, even if there's an interesting tree being hit by light and being isolated, the foreground, the body of water, is completely dried out. The idea was to get here and take a picture of the nice, beautiful lake, but there's nothing left of the lake. So I think I head in the other direction and try to see what's left from the other body of water. The heat wave is hitting us pretty hard, and I read in the newspaper the other day that praying mantises are coming back to Europe because of the heat. So I don't think I know how much I like that, whether or not those are predators or how much those is changing the ecosystem in hindsight. But yeah, the sky is getting beautiful colors, but there's a huge dark cloud right where I was thinking a nice beautiful sunset would happen, and I have 20 minutes left. So I think I'm heading where I came from and try to make the best out of today's sunset. Well, the last shot was beautiful with lighting during the golden hour. I think this shot isn't. As you can see on my camera screen, the light is really flat, there are really dark clouds, and while they were a little bit colored, a little bit pinkish a few minutes ago, I think I missed it entirely because I was fiddling around with a longer exposure, and today's lesson would have been something like just go wide and take a picture of what is beautiful, and I was forcing myself into the habit like I have to use a long lens for some reason. And this is a composition I came up with, but we need to talk more about tripods. And how is a tripod helping you in landscape photography? I talked about slowing the process down in the first place, and the slowest you can go is just to not move at all. And the one really good thing to help your photography skills or your understanding of photography is not moving at all and hold completely still. And imagine you're learning how to drive and you could just hit the clutch, enter the gear, and let the clutch come slowly without being afraid of hitting the wall next to you. So by completely slowing down and not moving at all, you can change every setting in your camera at once to just learn and understand how it changes over time. You can just figure out what is the shutter speed actually doing to your picture, and you can just dial the settings in and see for yourself what is changing without being afraid of moving the camera too much or missing your shot or missing your picture. When you're forcing yourself behind the camera and look through the viewfinder, it is still a fun experience, but for me, I rather use this. The reason I am carrying my 2-kilogram tripod with me isn't just to get sharp pictures, it's to be able to fiddle with the camera settings without having to recompose from scratch all the time. And while arguably using your camera handheld is way faster. I really like to slow down and do every decision for the composition decisively. And carrying around a heavy tripod just to get sharp images wouldn't be necessary today. If it would be just for the images, my stabilized camera body and my stabilized lenses and my fast lenses are already enabling me to take really sharp pictures. But the benefits of a tripod are beyond just that. But the second you're trying the hands-off approach and put your camera on the tripod and are able to really decisively compose your image without caring about camera settings, and then just focus on your camera settings without caring about having the composition at the same exact state is a workflow I really like. If it's for you, I don't know. I highly recommend you guys to just try a tripod, and I really think that the second you put your camera on the tripod, it clicks. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like my video, and leave a comment which of the pictures you like the most or what you don't like about my videos. Every interaction counts, and it means the world to me. Bye.